Well, 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 well. What have we got here this morning? So, I guess it's official. I guess the government has officially shut down. What y'all think? Is it official? Is it official? So, the first question that we're asking is who's responsible for the government shutdown? The obvious answer is the Democrats. But why the Democrats have chosen to go down this road, which led to the government shutting down, that's a whole other story, which we're going to talk about today. But the second question that I'm going to ask is why do we continue to allow the Democrats, specifically the far left leaning Democrats, how many years are we going to allow them to hold this country hostage? Because we won't capitulate to their ridiculous new world order progressive BS. Because y'all know what this shutdown is ultimately about. They're upset because, and they keep trying to tell this lie. They keep saying, "Oh, we're shutting down. We're not going to vote for this continuing resolution because we need, there are certain things that we need for the American people when it comes to healthcare, right?" And they keep trying to make it seem like it's about the American people, right? But from what I understand, they're trying to slide in billions. I think it may be more than that. They're trying to slide in billions of dollars to give illegal immigrants health care. So they're still on this, they're still on this BS with the illegal immigrants. And I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised because considering the current state of the Democrat Party, that's really their lifeline. They are banking on, look, the estimates that we got of how many illegal immigrants came into this country. I don't think those estimates are accurate. I think it's far worse than that. I mean, look at that dude that was a superintendent. How many of y'all saw the dude that I think is originally from Africa, but lied and said he was born in Brooklyn? Well, he told a few lies. They don't even know what year he was actually born because he lied on every single application, was able to become a school superintendent making about 300,000 a year and wasn't even a press one if y'all can see me. Press one if y'all can see me. You said he's from Guyana? Okay. So hold on one second. We gonna fix this. There we go. There we go. So anyway, going back to what I was saying. You have this guy from Guyana claim that he was born in Brooklyn, claim that he was born at 3 different years. One application, he said he was born in 78. Another one, he said he was born in 73. I mean, just lying on every application because nobody verified anything. And me personally, I don't think it was incompetence. I don't think it's a matter of incompetence when we find out that people are here working and they're illegal immigrants. I don't think it's incompetence. I think it is willful and strategic. I really feel like the bureaucracy is sitting back looking at the sheer amount of people who have become conservative, and they're basically saying, okay, well, you know what, we need to get more people in this country that may not be conservative. We need to get more people in this country that are willing to be more liberal, and the only way we're going to do that is we have to incentivize them to not only come in this country but to remain in this country. Pause. But you got this dude making $300,000 a year. He had a previous gun charge, and when he got pulled over, he had another freaking gun, which means he has an additional gun charge. And this is a guy that works as a school superintendent. Now, the interesting thing about that story is this. The interesting thing is he was registered to vote for like 13 years. He was registered to vote for like 13 years. And I could be wrong. I think he may have been registered to vote in the state of Maryland. But he was registered to vote. So now the only question is, did he vote? And how many other people in this country that's not supposed to be in this country are registered to vote and voting? This is the main reason why every state needs to require a valid ID in order to be able to vote. And who knows, that may not even stop it, because I'm wondering how in the hell was he able to get a job and do all types of other shit unless he did have an ID. From what I understand, he had a social security number and some more shit. So when you look at this government shutdown, you start to see why Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are going so hard in the paint to try to get whatever incentives they can get slid in there, because it's getting drastic. Because if you go and look at the continuing resolution that they're trying to get passed right now, this is the same type of continuing resolution that Chuck Schumer agreed to and voted to pass back in March. So what's different now? What's different now? I feel like the only thing that's different now is that shit is getting drastic. Shit is getting drastic for the Democrats, and they're getting desperate. So you're going to see them all over the news screaming about healthcare, screaming about the American people, the American people. But there's only one problem. There's only one problem with all of these government officials, these Congress people that keep getting up on the podium screaming about the American people. We need to do this for the American people. We need to make sure that the American people are straight. We need to America. Well, before we do any of that, before we make sure that the American people are straight, we need to establish who the hell the American people are. Because they've gotten to the point where they are referring to illegal immigrants as American people. The Democrats have become so radicalized and so far left that anybody that comes into this country is almost like they want to guarantee or believe that the moment someone comes into this country illegally, the moment their feet touches the soil, all of a sudden they're an American. And I'm gonna tell you something else too. The actual American people, the actual American citizens, we're not outraged enough. We're not outraged enough. So here you have a guy that's an illegal immigrant that had a gun charge, was caught with an illegal gun, and he's working for a school system. Like, what is wrong with that picture? What is wrong with that picture? What's wrong with that picture? There's a lot wrong with that picture. But as you're coming in, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the Cash App and support the show. Anybody that drops 100 or more will be a sponsor of the show. We want to get at least 30 contributors per hour. So we're going to start the timer. Make sure you hit the Cash App and support the show. So, and this is crazy. I don't know what's going on with the BINO Nation. We're almost 15 minutes in and not a single person has contributed to the show. Like, what's going on? So, these are really the topics that I like to talk about, which is politics and things of that nature. And you know, when I was younger, always wanted to be like Rush Limbaugh. Always wanted to be like Rush Limbaugh. But the only problem that I didn't account for when I was a young man is that in order to be like Rush Limbaugh, you have to either be white or you have to have a white audience. Now, I wish that wasn't true. I wish that wasn't true. I wish that Black people actually valued intellectualism and political commentary. Like, there's so many individuals that have a problem with my commentary. They don't like the way I critique Black people. what am I supposed to say when I sit back and I notice that anything that has any level of intelligence to it, y'all hate? If I fired up a live stream right now and in that live stream, it was me and some ratchet ass chick arguing back and forth, it would, one, get plenty of views, and two, plenty of support. So again, to everybody watching the show, if you are a BINO, I'm asking you to support the show. And I'm going to apologize. I can't be the ass ignorant nigga y'all want me to be. I'm not going to come up here every day with drama. I'm not going to come up here every day with chicks on a panel to argue with. I'm not doing none of that shit. I'm not doing none of that shit. See, the other day, I was going to make a statement. And I said, you know what? Let me not make this statement, because if I make this statement, it's going to really piss some people off. It's going to really piss some people off, right? And I didn't make the statement, and that was a mistake. I should have said it. So I'm going to say it now. I must have really pissed off some black folk by coming out and saying that Charlie Kirk shouldn't have lost his life. Right? And the reason why I say that is because when I go and look at my channel growth, right? Let me go pull it up. When I go look at my channel growth, you know, we for the past couple of days, we've been losing a few people. Not a lot, but a few people. You know, one day we lost 5. Another day we lost 24. Another day we lost 19. Another day we lost 8. Y'all niggas is really mad at me about the Charlie Kirk situation. But guess what? I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn how many of you niggas run around here in your fifis because I said the man didn't deserve to die, because he didn't deserve to die. He didn't deserve to die. See, number one, and this is what's so interesting about the whole Charlie Kirk situation. Charlie Kirk was a white guy that was all about Christian values and all about America, right? The only time he spoke on black topics is when people came to his event, got on the mic, and asked him about black topics. So really, a lot of black folks was baiting him into black topic conversations, right? But ultimately, Charlie Kirk lost his life to another white guy. Now, the reason why I got to point this out is because at the end of the day, black people, that whole Charlie Kirk situation didn't have a damn thing to do with you. In fact, the only reason why any of you are even speaking on the Charlie Kirk situation is because anytime anything tragic happens, you have to figure out a way to insert yourself so that you can get your so that you can get your victimhood on, right? Shout out to Man. He said, respect, AM. Appreciate you. Shout out to Lowly One. Said, black man here. Charlie Kirk didn't deserve to die. Racist or not, I said it. Shout out to Grady for the membership. Shout out to King Cato. He said, coin for the show, AM. Shout out to Mr. Lone Star. He said they caught 3 CDL schools paying DMV workers to pass and take tests for illegals in 3 states. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, let me get back. Let me get back to this little tirade that I'm going on. You feel me? And for you little individuals that unsubscribed or whatever, you're not hurting my feelings. This will not be the first time somebody's unsubscribed from me over my opinion. It ain't gonna be the first time. Shout out to Lotus Flower. It ain't gonna be the first time. The first time anybody ever unsubscribed from me because of my opinion was back when I had 5,000 subs. And guess what? Ever since then, it has occurred numerous times. But it's all good because I call that purging. Because at the end of the day, what it boils down to is if you did not like my opinion about the Charlie Kirk situation, or you don't like my general opinion of black people in general, then you should leave. You should unsubscribe and make room for someone who understands what I'm saying. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm tired of you looky-loo ass, non-supportive, waste of space Negroes that come in here to hate watch me. I'm sick of y'all anyway. I'm sick of y'all anyway. And I don't give a damn about this new age black version of racism that you want to engage in. I don't care about it. I don't care about it. I'm not going to be part of it. Truth of the matter is, most of you were running around celebrating Charlie Kirk losing his life because you're bigots and racist. That's plain and simple. Plain and simple. It's the same reason that you automatically assumed that that boy Carmelo Anthony didn't do anything wrong to Austin Metcalf, because you're racist. It's the same reason y'all believed that that girl down in Alabama that faked her own kidnapping, this is the reason why you believe she was really kidnapped, because you're a bunch of racists. You're a bunch of damn racists. Anytime somebody black does something, you automatically assume the best. Anytime somebody white does something, you automatically assume the worst. You're the inverse of what racist white people are. But how you operate and how you move, it's no different. It's no different. It's no different. And I cannot wait to purge as many of you as I possibly can, because shit, you don't support the show any damn way. You don't support the show any damn way. You don't support the show. You come in here and take up space. That's what you do. You come in here and take up space, and it's really unfortunate. Now, here's the thing that I was going to say on the stream the other day that you really need to pay attention to. Instead of you black folk trying to figure out a way to make yourself a victim in the Charlie Kirk situation, because that's really all it is. You're just like, oh, he said racist stuff. That's so you can claim victimhood, you know, and participate in some newsworthy shit, right? Instead of worrying about whether or not Charlie Kirk was actually a racist and whether or not he deserved to die, what you should be asking yourself is, where is your version of Charlie Kirk? That's the question you should be asking yourself. Where is your version of Charlie Kirk? Where's your version of Charlie Kirk? You don't have one. And guess what? You're never going to have one. You know why you're never going to have one? Here's the reason why you're never going to have one. Go back and look at the video of that one young man that was at that college and he was doing like this. He was trying to pretend like he that was doing that. Go back and look at that video. And what I want you to do is I want you to slow it down and I want you to zoom in on his face. That ignorant nigga ain't have a thought in his head. You can look him straight in his face and tell he ain't had a thought in his head, but he's in college. Now, what do I mean? Because what do I mean? Somebody do me a favor. The person MG that said Jesse Lee Peterson, kick his ass out of my chat room. Kick him out of my chat room. Shout out to Stan, said salute, big dog. Appreciate you. Shout out to Crocodile Tears, said you lifted my morale when I felt defeated. Appreciate you. Said especially in 2020 when Trump lost. Appreciate you. Shout out to Vincent. He said supporting the channel. Shout out to Treese. Treese said support. Appreciate you. Shout out to Cashmere Black, said you can't have a frank conversation with black folk about race without getting in their feelings and calling someone racist. Look, the reason why I say this, when you go back and you look at that young boy, right? Let me see if I can find a photo of him real quick. Student expelled. Let's see, expelled for mocking Charlie Kirk. Let's see photos. Here we go, right here. Him right there. If you go back and look at that video, if you go back, there you go right there. There you go right there. Can y'all see it? Can y'all see it? You see it? You see it? You see that dull-witted look? You see that dull-witted look? I'm gonna show you where you've seen it before. I'll show you where you've seen it before. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Y'all be worried about the wrong shit. Y'all be worried about the wrong shit. What you need to be worried about, is you need to be worried about why the black youth are walking around on average with the 1,000-yard stare. Or lifeless eyes. You really need to try to figure that out. Shout out to the Daily Course, said AM, which Cash App, just making sure you got mine. It's either or, bro. It's either or. I got it. Shout out to my man Arturo. He said, definitely dim Shutdown by Hakeem Jeffries. Yeah. Yeah. Facts. Shout out to NDB Timmy. He said, "Are my Cash Apps coming through?" Yes, sir. Shout out to NDB Timmy again. He said, "BINO, appreciate you." That's really what y'all should be worried about. And instead of worrying about Angryman opinion, what you need to be worried about is why your youth are walking zombies. Why? Loaded Locks Gaming said Michael Myers had the same stare. Yeah. China Black said they all look like that. Yeah, they do. They do. If you go back, look, let me tell you something. If you go back, pull up videos of black teenagers in the 90s. If you pull up videos of black teenagers in the 90s, you see life in our face. You see life in our eyes. You pull up these videos of these new age YNs, you don't see no life in their eyes. You don't see no life in their eyes. You don't see no life in their eyes. Like when I saw that video of that young boy doing that, slapping his neck, I kept looking at him because he was trying to convey, he wanted to make fun of Charlie Kirk, and he was trying to convey emotion, but there was no emotion on his face when he was doing it. It was very robotic. You feel me? And I dare say it was like he was possessed. Go back and look at that video again. If you go back and look at that video again, and it's not, here's the thing you got to realize, it's only the black boys. It's not the black girls. There's a video of a black girl at another college that was singing "Your Homie Got Shot" or something like that. You can still see life in her face, even though she was doing some goofy shit. So it's not the girls, it's the boys. It's the black boys. You got to go back and look at that video and just look at that robotic movement as he was walking through the crowd, slapping his neck, like there was no emotion on his face. Absolutely no emotion on his face. But not to go too deep off into that, I am super annoyed, right? And I'm going to tell you why I'm super annoyed. Because I hate the fact that so you got all of these black folk, right? And some of y'all be like, what does this got to do with politics? This has everything to do with politics because the Democrats promote this behavior amongst black people. They promote this behavior amongst black people. You got all these black folk that get upset, right? Like, for instance, I'll give you a prime example. When Charlie Kirk was talking about the black chick that got confirmed into the, Supreme Court, to Kanji, what's her name? Takanji Brown Jackson, whatever her name is, right? I think it's Takanji. I could be wrong, right? When he said something about her, he said that she didn't have the mental agility to do XYZ, right? Now, everybody took that as he was talking about black women in general, even though he didn't say black women. He said Ketanji Brown Jackson does not have the mental agility to do XYZ. So here's my thing. Right? Somebody do me a favor. HB Skid J, kick them out of my chat room, please. We got one more person to come in here playing, and I'm gonna make it members only. We got one more. And look, they so backwards. The other day, that chick Jazz, she was up there fighting for Tylenol. And I'm sitting here like thinking, I didn't even respond to that shit, but I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, well, if they are saying that, if they're saying that there may be a connection between pregnant women taking Tylenol and autism, don't you think that's something we should look into, considering the high rate of autism that we have in this country? But it's like, it's funny because this is what annoys me the most about this shit, is whatever fucking position the leftist Democrats take, it's the same position these assholes take. I don't understand it. It's like they've become a cult. You look at the conservatives, you look at the Republicans. We don't agree with everything Republicans do. We don't agree with everything Kash Patel does. We don't agree with everything that that Pam Bondi does. We don't agree with everything that Dan Bongino does. We don't agree with everything that Trump does. But when it comes to them, whatever the Democrat overlords say, that's what the general Democrat public go hard in the paint for. So the moment they say, yo, there's a possibility that Tylenol, pregnant women taking Tylenol could cause autism, it's like all of the regular Democrats just sat back and waited. Wait a minute, we got to wait and see what position the Democrats are going to take. As soon as the Democrats came out and said, this is wrong, you're trying to deny women the ability to get Tylenol, then all of the regular Democrats said, yeah, this is bullshit. Like, y'all don't even think for yourselves anymore. Y'all don't even think for yourselves anymore. Like, if I get on a panel with a bunch of lefty Democrats, I don't even got to ask you your opinion. All I got to do is go to CNN and look at whatever topic we're getting ready to talk about. All I got to do is go to CNN and see what their opinion is on it. Whatever their opinion is on it, that's what your opinion is going to be. Every fucking time. And you don't see nothing wrong with that. But anyway, going back to what I was saying about Ketanji and Charlie Kirk, right? And this ties into me doing my show, right? This ties into me doing my show. So what you're telling me is that whenever someone white calls out DEI hires, which, let's be real, is basically saying, you know what, you couldn't get that job because you were smart enough. You only got that job because you're a minority, right? This is why black people are offended, right? So whenever somebody white points out that someone is a DEI hire, black people get offended because they feel like that's white people calling them stupid, right? Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. That is the reason why black people get upset about it, right? So here's my question. If Charlie Kirk says Ketanji Brown Jackson doesn't have the mental agility to engage in certain type of conversations, if other white people are saying that the only reason some of you got these jobs is because you're DEI hires, which basically implies that you're not smart enough to get certain jobs, right? Here's my question. How you gonna get upset about that when you reject intellectualism and only love ignorance and foolishness? How are you going to get upset at another group of people calling your group of people stupid when all you ever engage in is stupidity? I'll wait. I'll wait. Shout out to King Cato said, our people have been brainwashed by the Democrats to the point to where logic escapes them. They don't even understand their pawns on the chessboard, and our women are weaponized to keep us that way via feminism. That's my question. Because guess what? We don't get to be intellectuals on YouTube. We don't get to be. You want to know the reason why Officer Tatum's channel is so big? Because it's not just black people watching his show. Same thing with Anthony Brian Logan. Same thing with every other black conservative. The reason why their show, any other black conservative or black intellectual, the only reason their shows are big is because it's not just black people watching their show. You can't be an intellectual content creator as a black person and have a predominantly black audience. You cannot be a black intellectual content creator with a predominantly black audience, because if you have a predominantly black audience, your numbers are going to be small. Your channel is going to be small. Because quite frankly, black folks do not come to YouTube looking for intellectualism. And this is the reason why when you look at the black content creators, you don't see the black equivalent of Charlie Kirk. You don't see the black equivalent of Jordan Peterson. You don't see the black equivalent of Ben Shapiro. You don't see the black equivalent of any of that shit. Ben Shapiro doesn't have to have a show where he's arguing with a bunch of women from his culture. Jordan Peterson doesn't have to curse and act a fool and engage in antics just to get views. And Charlie Kirk didn't have to run around here engaging in the same type of antics that Charleston White does in order for his people to take him seriously as an activist. Charlie Kirk didn't have to act like Charleston White in order to get white folks' attention. He didn't have to act like that in order to get his peer group's attention. But in order for Charleston White to get black folks' attention, he got to get on here and act a damn fool. Something that I refuse to do. But we're not supposed to believe there's something wrong with our culture. I'm gonna tell you what I'm really starting to believe. Tell you what I'm really starting to believe. What I'm really starting to believe is that I'm speaking a foreign language. It's like that scene on the 40-Year-Old Virgin when Kevin Hart was in there and he said, "Come on, man, be my nigga." And homeboy said, "Well, look, I ain't nobody's nigga, okay? So let's move forward amicably." And Kevin Hart said, "I don't understand the word amicably, so I'm gonna just take it as disrespect." This is what I'm starting to feel like. I'm starting to feel like a lot of the shit I'm saying, you black folk that get offended at the shit that I'm saying, I'm starting to feel like you just don't understand what I'm saying and you just want to say, okay, well, since I don't understand, I'm gonna take it as disrespect. Because I'm gonna tell you the truth, the shit that I say on a regular basis, it makes perfect sense to me. It makes perfect sense to me. But whenever I say anything up here, y'all run to like somebody told me, yo, the whole internet mad at you. Mad at me for what? For telling the truth? Mad at me for what? For not being a ignorant tap dancing, pandering to the degenerates of my culture, clown. That's why y'all mad at me. Shout out to Mac Moose said the same people who are offended about being called DEI hire are the ones that championed DEI and boycotted Target for ending DEI. Yeah. It's like they want DEI, but they don't want to be called DEI. It doesn't even make sense. Shit don't even make sense. It don't even make logical sense. You you want you want DEI, but you don't want to be called DEI. And look, I got news for you. Look, I got news for you. If you mad at the opinions that I have as the angry man, you gonna be mad for a long time because my opinion ain't changing no time soon. The same way you Negroes don't have no plans of changing your behavior, I don't have no plans of changing my opinion. My opinion will change when your behavior changes. But anyway, back to the government shutdown. And by the way, shout out to my man Tall. He said, "What's up, AM and BINOs? Appreciate you." Yo, we got 22 minutes left, and we need 11 people. We got 22 minutes left, and we need 11 people. Shout out to my man Aaron. Aaron said, "To the leftists committing acts of war in Portland, Albuquerque, Chicago, you're lucky it isn't Precio Vance, a Marine, a lawyer, and a Sigma. Trump is holding him back." Vance would just delete you, period. Yeah, Vance ain't gonna play with him. Vance ain't gonna play with him. But let me make sure that this is understood completely. Okay. Let me make sure this is understood completely. This is by far one of the most disappointing stages of Black development in this country. Hands down. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody say. The shit is sad. The things that y'all fall for on a regular basis, like right now, I guarantee you that there's a bunch of you that's like, Trump shut the government down. I guarantee you. I promise you, I guarantee you, Trump don't want us to get our Medicaid and get our disability checks and then our checks and our checks. I guarantee you. Because, like Charlie Kirk said, you do not have the mental agility to understand what's really going on. Now, I can break it down for you. It's not like you're gonna listen. It's not like you're gonna listen, but let me break it down for you so you can understand it, right? We have midterms coming up. Okay? We got midterms coming up. Chuck Schumer, hate him or love him, is not a far left-leaning Democrat. He's not. He's not, nor has he ever been. Chuck Schumer is closer to the center. This is the reason why Chuck Schumer, as far as I know, has always voted to pass the continuing resolution. Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries went and had a meeting with Donald Trump in the Oval Office, and unfortunately, the meeting didn't bear any fruit because it didn't make any sense that Chuck and Hakeem wouldn't vote for the continuing resolution because nothing in the continuing resolution is different. It's the same continuing resolution that they voted for in March. But there's one reason that Chuck Schumer decided to take this position. And shout out to Fetterman and the other two Democrats that voted for the continuing resolution. But there's only one reason, right? The one reason why Chuck Schumer decided to take this position is because AOC and all of the lunatic lefties that are far left, they want to fund health care for illegal immigrants. That's what the Democrat base wants right now. So the only reason Chuck Schumer has taken this position is because he's worried about losing his seat. He knows that if he goes against AOC and the rest of the lefty lunatics that want to fund the health care for the freaking illegal immigrants, he knows that's going to put him in the crosshairs. That's going to put him in bad favor with the Democrat Party. and he doesn't want to lose his seat. You got midterms coming up. We get what it is, right? Shout out to Antoine. I appreciate your opinion, AM. I have watched you ever since you first started your car lives. Appreciate you, bro. So Chuck Schumer is literally stuck between a rock and a hard place. He has two choices. One, he can choose to do what he's always done, and he's even given speeches. Go back and look. Chuck Schumer has given speeches about the importance of making sure that a continuing resolution gets passed and making sure that you don't have a government shutdown. He's literally given speeches about this. So he has one choice. He has two choices. He can stay true to himself and his convictions and say, you know what, I'm going to vote for this and make sure that the government doesn't shut down, because the government shutdown is going to affect Americans. It's going to affect Americans. So he could do that, piss off the left, and risk losing his seat or risk damaging his chances to keep his seat. Or he can go against everything that he's always stood for and everything he's always claimed and not pass this continuing resolution in order to gain favor with the now radicalized left of the Democrat Party. And the sad part is, you know, Trump and Speaker Mike Johnson, they were in the Oval Office, and Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries left, and Speaker Mike Johnson said, Trump said it's a shame. They just don't want to do the right thing. And see, to a degree, they don't really care because they can always blame Trump. That's the other thing. They can always say it's Trump's fault. They can always say, well, Trump didn't want to do this or Trump didn't want to do that, because most people are not paying attention. Most people don't pay attention to politics, really. Shout out to Arturo. He said he did it in March and they threw him under the bus for months. Yeah, and he's trying to avoid it. He's trying to avoid getting thrown under the bus now. He's trying to avoid getting thrown under the bus. And the shit is sad that he can't stand on business. The shit is sad that he can't stand on business. Shout out to my man Carell for being a sponsor of the show, man. Appreciate you, broski. He said, may God bless you with the strength of countenance. Appreciate you. And by the way, everybody wish my wife a happy birthday today. Today is wifey's birthday. She might be watching. I can barely see. I can barely see them because there's a glare on the damn glass. Anyway, appreciate that, y'all. So the irony of this, everybody said happy birthday.
Thank you, Karen. He was looking at like that.
Looking at you. I wasn't looking like that. Because I can see my reflection in the glass. I don't even know what you're talking about. But so the irony of this entire situation, right? Here's the irony of this situation. The irony is, while Chuck Schumer is in a lose-lose situation. Because this looks bad for Chuck no matter what. No matter what he does, it looks bad for him. Him going against his previous statements and previous actions and not voting for this continuing resolution, that looks bad. If he votes for it, he's going to look bad again to the Democrats. So Chuck Schumer is in a lose-lose situation. However, Donald Trump is in a win-win situation. Okay? Because basically, when you look at the continuing resolution, by the Democrats not voting for it, they're basically saying, "Oh, we don't have enough money to keep the government open. We don't have enough money to run the government." Which does what? It puts Trump in the perfect situation. Number one, if Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer fold and they vote for the continuing resolution, well, guess what? Now they basically bent the knee to Trump. They basically capitulated to what Trump wanted, right? But if they don't vote for it, they're basically saying, well, there isn't enough money to keep the government open and to keep the government running, which then puts Trump in a position to say, okay, you know what? Let's get rid of 100,000 federal workers. Now Trump can go through and he can cherry pick these faceless, empty suit bureaucrats that have been living off of the American dollar, the American taxpayer dollar, for I don't know how long, these shiftless, paper-pushing bums that don't really do anything. He can go through, cherry pick them and say, you know what, we don't need you, we don't need you, we don't need you, we don't need you, we don't need you. So while the Democrats are like, oh, that's okay, you don't give us what we want, you don't give us this health care money for these illegal immigrants, we'll shut the government down. Okay. What's your point? Conservatives want smaller government anyway. And the only thing you're doing is you're playing right into Trump's hands, giving him the ability to scale back, trim the fat, and make these government agencies smaller, which they should be in the first place. Or maybe you wasn't paying attention when Trump called all of the generals. He called all of the generals. Hey, I need all the generals to show up. Why? So he could basically G-check all of them. Check this out. All that goofy stuff you was doing before under Joe Biden and Obama, we not doing that goofy shit no more. We're not doing that no more. If you a general, get in shape. Stop walking around the Pentagon morbidly obese. Ain't nobody in here gonna be rocking no pink hair. We not doing none of that shit. And I know why he did it. The only reason he did it is because he wants to get rid of some of them. He wants to get rid of some of them. See, here's the thing that people don't realize. There's a reason why every single time you look up, they have to pass a continuing resolution and raise the debt ceiling for the government, because the government has swelled into a behemoth that it should have never been. The United States government should have never been this damn big. And that's just the truth. That's just the truth. This shit has swelled into a massive behemoth. Now, some people are going to be like, Well, that ain't right, angry man. Why are you condoning? Why are you condoning the closing of the government? I'm not condoning that. I'm not condoning that, but we shouldn't have to. The Republicans and the conservatives shouldn't have to capitulate to some ridiculous spending bill that's going to give free health care to countless illegal immigrants, people that shouldn't even be in this country in the first place. By the way, we got 7 minutes left and we still need 8 people. Shout out to Red Lipstick Vibe said support. 7 people. We got 7 minutes left and we need 7 people. Shout out to Something to Think About. L Nix, appreciate you. Said happy born day. Appreciate that. It's my wife's birthday though. Appreciate you though. Shout out to PTC Power Up. Said get 'em AM. Appreciate you. This is absolutely ridiculous. Like the fact that, bro, I'm gonna tell you something right now, and this is just my humble opinion, and everybody don't gotta agree with me on this, but I'm gonna just keep it all the way funky, right? All of these people in the Democrat Party that keep pushing for illegal immigration, we need to pass some kind of legislation that makes we need to pass some kind of legislation that makes being an accomplice to that shit, because I know that you have crimes where you're an accomplice. You know, if it's a federal crime, you know what? That's what we need to do. That's what needs to be done. We need a new piece of legislation that takes all of the guesswork and all of the loopholes, basically takes all of the bullshit out of illegal immigration. In other words, we need some sort of legislation that basically says if you come into this country illegally, it is definitely a federal crime, and anyone who aids and abets you in the commission of that federal crime is also a federal criminal. And it shouldn't matter what level you're at. It shouldn't matter if you're a regular citizen or if you're a congressman or congresswoman. Erica C said, morning AM, IIRC Congress hasn't passed a budget since Bush the Younger. That is the underlying problem. Yeah. Like that's like, because when I sit back and I watch all of these, there's 2 things I notice that really don't make any sense to me, right? Shout out to Martin. He said, happy birthday, Miss Angryman. AM, would you ever consider doing Q&As during a live, not for debate, but for helping some of us better understand politics? I don't know. I might do that one day. But shout out to Mr. Lone Star, said there's guys in the military wearing 4X and 5X. I don't know what their MOS is, but I hope it's nothing important. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's nasty work. Um, there's two things that's bothering me. Right? The first thing that's bothering me is the sheer number of representatives that were voted in that are fighting like hell to aid and abet illegal immigrants. That's the first thing that's really bothering me. Like, you mean to tell me there's nothing y'all can do about that? Like, you're just going to allow the Democrats to keep on playing semantics when it comes to illegal immigration? Like, I watched them sit on the floor. Like, I watched Tom Homan have a back and forth with AOC while she tried to play semantics about whether or not it's illegal to come in this country illegally. You literally have Democrats saying it's not illegal to come into this country illegally. And you're like, what? So that's the first thing. The second thing is the open rebellion against the current administration. Now, I get it. We're in America, and you're allowed to disagree with the president. You're allowed to disagree with those on the other side of the aisle. But this is open rebellion. At the end of the day, the president is still the commander-in-chief. He's still the head of the executive branch. We're talking open rebellion. And when is somebody going to say to these Democrats, look, your job is to be concerned about the well-being of the American people, not your petty grievances against Donald Trump. Shout out to Tom the Annie Up. He says, salute, AM. We already have such a law on the books, AM. No, actually, two, the Sedition Act and the RICO Act. So I guess it's just a matter of them not enforcing it. And see, this is why, look, this is why when they said they indicted James Comey, I'm like, man, whatever. Whatever. And what did I tell y'all that day? What did I tell y'all that day when they said they was indicting James Comey? I was like, man, I don't even really care about that, because 9 times out of 10, his ass probably ain't even gonna go to prison. And what do you see in the news now? What do you see them talking about now? They talking about they might drop the charges. Didn't I tell y'all? The problem with our government right now is that our government is not willing to prosecute those in the government. I mean, sure, they were willing to do it to Donald Trump because of their level of hatred for Donald Trump and the fact that they thought he wasn't going to be president again. But the reason why a lot of these congressmen and a lot of these people in government don't want to prosecute someone else is because they know that they could end up getting their turn. What the hell? It's because they know that it could be their turn. So when you look at those in Congress, they don't want to go too hard in the paint because they don't want that same they don't want to be hoisted by their own petard. They don't want that same thing to be used against them. And that's what the problem is. And until we have a government that truly holds government officials responsible, this shit is going to keep being what it is. It's going to keep being what it is right now. And what's going to happen is, look, I'm going to tell you what's happening right now. When you look at the left, right? When you look at the far left leaning Democrats like the Squad, AOC, Ilhan Omar, all of those, right? You know what they figured out? We can do whatever the fuck we want to do. That's what they figured out. And that's the main reason why they're out of control. Bro, they will literally do some shit they ain't got no business and then get up on the news and just flat out lie to the American people like we're so stupid we don't know they're lying. And guess what? They ain't being held accountable. They ain't being held accountable. Ain't nobody holding them accountable. Ain't nobody holding them accountable. Like, nope. We can do whatever we want to do whenever we want to do it. And anytime you got a group of people in a government that feel like they are untouchable, that they are above the law, that they can do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it, the only result is chaos. Because as we know, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Like they are literally doing whatever they want to do. Literally. And I'm telling you right now, these next few years, right? Let's see. Edward said, "You're not a real Trump supporter if you don't have shoe polish on your tongue like this guy. And stupid people should have a stupid president. It's only right." Yeah. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. I don't know why y'all think I'm interested in your opinions. I have absolutely no idea why. I've said it numerous times. Like, I've said so many freaking times, like, I don't give a shit about a Democrat's opinion. If you're on the left, I don't give a damn about your opinion because it's not a real opinion. I'll listen to conservatives' opinions all day long because they have actual opinions. But if you're on the left and you're a Democrat, I don't give a shit about your opinion because it ain't even your opinion. It ain't even your damn opinion. And whatever you say out of your mouth, you're not even going to be able to get a coherent thought out without having your Tourette's from your Trump derangement syndrome. You can't give any opinion without figuring out some kind of way to shit on Donald Trump. That has to be included in your opinion. Like, I genuinely do not give a damn about your opinions because they're not genuine opinions. They're not. And I don't know why you're coming in here on some, well, the reason why, because this and because that and because this and blah, 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 blah. And here's the funniest thing in the world. The funniest thing in the world to me is people talking about some, well, President Trump is a dumb president, as opposed to who? Kamala Harris? Excuse me? Yeah, because George W. was so smart. Yeah, Obama was a genius. Like, yeah, bro, I swear to God, it's the funniest thing in the world. See, here's what I noticed, right? If you start out as a lawyer and then you become a mayor and then you become a congressman and you do that for some years and then you run for president, it doesn't matter how raggedy or how fucked up you are. The general public, specifically the Democrats, they're going to be like, yeah, he's awesome. Why? Because he went the normal route. He went the normal route of being the lying, conniving, sneaky ass politician that every other politician is. The politician that smiles in your face while he does shiesty ass shit behind the scenes. The politician that's eloquent when he speaks, but he's really full of shit. The politician that always has on a clean suit and has the best image in the world, but he's bombing this place and bombing that place. That's what y'all want. The only reason you hate Trump is because Trump didn't go through that process. He didn't start out as a lawyer and then become a mayor or a governor and then become president. He doesn't get up on camera and speak eloquently and then do shiesty shit behind the scenes. He doesn't present himself as this perfect image while simultaneously doing some goofy ass shit. It's bro, the funniest thing in the world to me is politics is literally a damn popularity contest. Y'all don't give a damn. It's like Barack Obama, George Bush Jr., Bill Clinton, they were part of the cool kids table. So they should get to be student body president. Here you have Trump coming along. He's the rebel. You feel what I'm saying? He's the rebel and the outcast. And it's like, no, we don't want him as president. Shut your stupid ass up. Shout out to Fubar, said, didn't know what was going on until I got this bogus email about how Republicans caused this shutdown and blah, blah, blah. I knew it was Democrat BS. Yeah. Goofiest shit in the world. Shout out to Ginger Moose. Said, I listen to you live while I drive across country. Keep up the work, Angryman. Appreciate you, fam. Shout out to C. Rich. Anybody that's paid attention to politics long enough knows the main thing that we needed more than anything in this world is a president who was not a politician. That's what we needed. That's what we needed more than anything in this world. A president who wasn't a politician, a president who was not going to get in there and just go with the flow and the status quo. But some of you people out here in America, some of you Americans, you're too damn stupid to understand that. You're too stupid to understand why we needed to break the cycle of these lawyer politicians that get into office, promise everything, say all the right shit, and then don't give anything and do all the wrong shit. Shout out to Jazzy Jazz. But God forbid you should think for yourself. If you had a lick of intelligence, you would ask yourself one simple question. Why is it all these people that used to love Donald Trump all of a sudden overnight hate him? Hasn't that ever crossed your mind? But no, we're not going to ask that question because that question requires critical thought. It requires intelligence to notice some shit like that and say, this doesn't really make sense. They used to love him to death. Now, all of a sudden, they can't stand him. Could it possibly be that he was a Democrat before and decided to become a Republican? And guess what? He ain't the first one to do it. He ain't the first one to do it. The Gipper was a Democrat first. That's right. Ronald Reagan was a Democrat first. And the same way Donald Trump was a reality TV star, Ronald Reagan was an actor. And don't even get me started on the liberal shithole that this country was headed towards before Ronald Reagan became president. Now, I know a lot of y'all don't like Reaganomics, and y'all feel like, oh man, Reaganomics was horrible, and look at the way the economy was. Let me tell you something. If Reagan hadn't gotten office, I tell you right now, it'd have been a hell of a lot worse. It would have been a hell of a lot worse. Because this ain't the first time they've tried this liberal bullshit. What do you think was going on back then before Reagan got in office? That free love hippie bullshit, which is just the past iteration of what's going on right now. And it took Ronald Reagan to steer the country away from that bullshit. Shout out to Jazzy Jazz, said, yay, 2 months. Happy birthday, Miss AM. Appreciate it. Like, don't nobody, like, bruh. And then the funniest thing about it, shout out to Fudge, he said Trump keeps it gangster. That's why they hate. Yeah, here's the funniest thing about it. The funniest thing about it, he dismantled unions and pensions. The funniest thing about it is that as critical as everybody is of Donald Trump, when Joe Biden got in office, they didn't say shit. Still ain't saying shit. We don't even know who ran the country for 4 years, and they still ain't saying nothing. They ain't saying shit. The same people that's critical of Trump right now, they ain't got no smoke for Biden. But during Biden's entire administration, they still had smoke for Trump. They talked about Trump through Biden's entire administration, ignoring that Afghanistan pullout, ignoring high inflation, ignoring the opening of the border. Like, the shit that Joe Biden did is ridiculous. And the craziest thing about it is the main reason everybody should be asking questions is because it's possible it wasn't even Joe Biden that did it. How many of those executive orders, how many of those decisions were by auto pen? Mama said majority of them are corrupt and they don't want to go to prison. And that's a shame because American people get arrested all the time for less. Absolutely. This shit is crazy. They still are not scrutinizing. They still ain't scrutinizing Trump. I mean, not Trump. They're definitely scrutinizing Trump. They're still not scrutinizing Biden or his entire administration. Even though Kamala Harris has come out in her book and said some really damning things. Like, you literally, if you literally wanted to investigate the Biden administration, you can literally go and get her book and use excerpts from her book, which now has her in hot water with the Democrats. But they're not even they're not even they're not even they're not even putting him under the same scrutiny. Not even putting him under the same scrutiny at all. It's just everything Trump does. And you know why? Because Joe Biden is the career politician. He's part of the club. So I sit back and I think to myself, like, what is it with the American public? Is there some sort of spell that comes over you when a politician is a career politician? Is that what it is? Like when Joe Biden got in office, like, well, he's supposed to be there because he's a career politician. And here's the reason why this is so asinine and so damn ridiculous. The reason why this is so ridiculous is because that's just like having a monarchy. When you sit back and have a problem with the way this country is built, the average everyday working man is supposed to have a shot at being president. You're not supposed to be somebody that has to come from this background or that background, or you had to be a lawyer, or you had to be a mayor, or you had to be in public service, or you had to be this, or you had to be that. You may as well have a damn monarchy if you're going to do that. The way America is supposed to work. And that's the whole reason why literally on the ballot, you have where you can write a name in. So remember back in the day, they was talking about Joe the plumber, right? If the majority of Americans went to the ballot box and wrote in Joe the plumber, guess what? Joe the plumber is supposed to become the damn president. That's why when I sit back and I look at y'all looking at Trump like, oh, well, Trump, he was a businessman and a reality star. He's not supposed to be president. Shut your stupid ass up. You don't even understand how America works. You don't even understand what makes the country great. What makes the country great is anybody can be voted into office. Anybody. That's the point of having elections. If I decided right now to run for Congress or to be a mayor or any of that shit, if I get enough votes, I get elected. It doesn't matter what my history is. It doesn't matter what none of that shit is. Shout out to Bryson, said, feel like it's the same mindset as people who can't accept someone's opinion just because they don't have a college degree, even if it's intellectual. Exactly. Exactly. It's the goofiest shit in the world. It's the goofiest shit in the world. President Trump won. He won. He won the first time. He won the... Like, let's be real. So what if he's never been a politician? So the hell what? In fact, I honestly believe, see, we shouldn't just stop at that. We shouldn't just stop at that. Trump decided to run for president because he got sick of seeing the way the country was being led. And we shouldn't have stopped there. It shouldn't just be Trump, who has no previous experience as a politician, running for public office. We should be doing that in every category. Then the shit would change. If regular, average, everyday people ran for public office, Congress, governors, mayors, senators, then the shit would change. The problem is too many people that's part of the same damn club, and that shit need to be busted up. That's the truth. That's the truth. Shout out to C-Train. He said, you got my vote, AM. That's the truth. That bullshit need to be busted up. That's the damn truth. That's the damn truth. And people can get upset about it. People can say, oh, well, you want us to have inexperience? Man, please. How much do you really think? How much experience do you really think you need? How much fucking experience do you really think you need? Shout out to Andre, said, for the show, people are too effing dumb, sadly. That's facts. Shout out to Burnell. He said, salute AM. We should not stop there for sure. If anything, Trump is a cushion of what could have been under Kamala. We all have to do our part locally. Facts. Like how much experience do you think you really need to have in order to be a bro? AOC is a congressperson. AOC. Fucking what is old girl's name? Jasmine Crockett. Like how much, bro, how much experience do you really think you need to get elected and then hire a staff that's going to do all your work for you? Man, please. But anyway, man, I'm about to get up out of here so I can go eat some lunch. I'll be back at you guys later on this evening. I got to see what else is going on in the news. Shout out to my man Dark Power. Appreciate you. I got to see what else is going on in the news. We're going to have more to discuss, trust and believe. Shout out to Stan. Stan said, real quick, AM, our guy Trump is next level hilarious. He added a wall of fame outside the White House. He got Biden's picture as the auto pen. Kimmel could never. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. And you got the Democrats. They're more concerned about that. They're more concerned about the photo of the auto pen than the actual auto pen. That's what's so funny about it. Democrats are upset because he put that picture of the auto pen up there in place of Biden's picture. And it's like, yo, y'all are more concerned about the picture of the auto pen than the use of the auto pen. That's what's so crazy about that whole situation. But anyway, yo, shout out to everybody that came through. I appreciate y'all for supporting the show. Those of you who did support the show. I'll be back at y'all later on this evening, so be on the lookout for me. I got to see what else is going on in the news as far as politics. Make sure you guys go check out my book, The Angryman Standard, which is available on Amazon. All you have to do is type The Angryman Standard in the search bar, and it will come up. Also, make sure you check out the merchandise. All you have to do is click the link on the screen. Or you can go to shopBinoNation.com. Again, that's shopBinoNation.com. But other than that, salute to the whole BINO Nation. I'm going to holler at y'all later on. Deuces.